From the river to the sea, Egypt's fight to stop Ethiopia. As Ethiopia's Grand Renaissance Dam nears completion, Egypt is doing what it's always done, sounding the alarm, raising the stakes, and threatening consequences. But this time, it's not just about water. Egypt is linking the Nile to the Red Sea, forming new alliances, drawing red lines, and trying to block Ethiopia's dam project and its access to the sea itself. Why? Because for Egypt, GERD isn't just a dam, and the sea isn't just water. Hi, I'm Sina Exel, and this is Analytica Today. Ethiopia is just months away from fully launching the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, the largest hydroelectric project in Africa and a symbol of national pride. But to Egypt, it's a direct threat. Earlier this week, Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati warned that Cairo reserves the right to defend itself over GERD, accusing Ethiopia of unilaterally putting Egypt's water security at risk. In the same breath, he called any non-coastal military presence in the Red Sea a red line. Translation? Ethiopia must be stopped. On the Nile and the sea, now Egypt is applying pressure from every angle, diplomatic, military, and regional. From trilateral pacts with Somalia and Eritrea to troop placements near Ethiopia's borders, Cairo is pushing back on two strategic fronts. So what's really driving Egypt's latest moves? How are the Nile and Red Sea becoming two sides of the same geopolitical struggle? Let's break it down. Let's start with the dam. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD, is more than a concrete and tribunes. It's a centerpiece of Ethiopia's development agenda. Once fully operational, it will generate over 5,000 megawatts of electricity, doubling Ethiopia's current capacity and supplying power to neighbors across East Africa. After over a decade of construction, controversy, and financial sacrifice, the dam is more than 98% complete. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed says it will be officially inaugurated in the matter of months. But Egypt has opposed GERD from day one, invoking colonial-era treaties to claim a historic right to 55.5 billion cubic meters of Nile water annually. Now, with the dam near completion, Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati is back in front of cameras, calling GERD an existential threat, declaring negotiations at a dead end, and warning that Egypt reserves the right to defend itself. But here's what Egypt doesn't say. Ethiopia has already completed 5 consecutive annual fillings on its own, without formal agreements. And Egypt's water? It's still flowing. That's because GERD doesn't consume water, it generates electricity by letting it pass through. If the dam were going to disrupt Egypt's supply, it would have done so by now. In fact, GERD brings potential benefits to the entire region. It helps reduce flooding in Sudan, where seasonal Nile surges regularly destroy farmland and displace communities. It also stabilizes water flow, which could help Egypt manage its own Aswan High Dam and reduce water loss to evaporation. Even Cairo's own water experts admit, with cooperation, the dam could become a shared asset. So why is Cairo still shouting? Because the Nile isn't the only thing Ethiopia is reaching for. In January last year, Ethiopia signed a deal with Somaliland, offering formal recognition in exchange for sea access. The deal includes lease for a port facility, naval presence, and potential pipeline infrastructure to the Red Sea. To Ethiopia, this is about survival. For 30 years, being landlocked has cost billions, forcing it to rely on Djibouti for over 95% of its imports and exports. Now with the GERD powering up, Ethiopia is eyeing the sea, not just to trade, but to connect, grow, and compete. But Egypt sees it differently. Just months after the Somaliland deal, Egypt held a trilateral summit with Eritrea and Somalia. The result? A unified front, a not-so-subtle message aimed at Addis Ababa. Egypt's foreign minister declared any military or naval presence by non-littoral states in Red Sea a red line. In other words, Ethiopia, stay out. The irony? Over a half-dozen foreign powers already maintain military or naval operations in the region, including the US, China, France, Turkey, and Japan. Yet none have triggered Egypt's warnings. Only Ethiopia, a fellow African country trying to access its own lifeline, it's told to stay out. Let's be honest, this isn't about principle, it's about control. What we're seeing is Egypt is attempting to defend two monopolies, one over the Nile and another over the Red Sea. The GERD challenges both. It shifts energy power inland. It repositions Ethiopia as a rising force in regional politics. And with access to the Red Sea, Ethiopia could become the Horn of Africa's most strategic economic corridor, linking landlocked markets with global trade routes. That changes everything for Cairo. For the first time in modern history, Egypt risks losing its upstream-downstream leverage, and with it, its regional dominance. But Egypt's approach isn't just defensive, it's dangerously counterproductive. Instead of building partnerships, it's building walls. While its efforts won't stop Ethiopia, it could divide a region that desperately needs to move forward together. What happens if Egypt succeeds in blocking Ethiopia's path? It keeps Ethiopia landlocked. It limits its ability to grow exports, attract investments, and stabilize its economy. It risks making Ethiopia permanently dependent, geographically isolated, while holding one of Africa's greatest energy assets. More importantly, it signals to the rest of the continent that Africa development is a zero-sum game, that water can't be shared, that ports must be denied, and a rising neighbor is a threat, not a partner. And it ignores the facts. GERD is failing successfully without harming Egypt. The dam benefits Sudan and potentially Egypt too. Ethiopia is not trying to seize ports by force, as some Egyptian media outlets suggest. In reality, Ethiopia is negotiating diplomatically, legally, and being punished for it. So here's the real question. What kind of Africa do we want to build? Or one where countries cooperate on shared resources, shared trade, and shared futures? Egypt's fears are real. Its water crisis is genuine, but fear must not be used to suppress others, because no one benefits from isolating a country of 120 million people, especially one that has proven can deliver for its people and its neighbors. Ethiopia isn't undermining the region. It's building, connecting, and trying to lead with infrastructure instead of ideology. The dam is nearly done. The push for sea access is already in motion. The real red line isn't about borders or coastlines. It's whether we let one nation's dominance hold back an entire region's progress. Because in the end, this isn't just Ethiopia's story, it's Africa's. That is all for today. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.